David Wygant, 10 Minutes of Reality on Sunday. I was reading something interesting. There was an article I was reading on the internet this morning when I woke up before I go and I pick up my amazing little daughter, who, by the way, so much fun playing. I have this stool, this little horsey stool. We play horsey, and of course the horsey had a crash yesterday, and when it crashed, I had to go and pick up the pieces, called my daughter. And I remembered when I was a little kid, I remember when I was about her age, my mom and my dad was away for the day. And my housekeeper, Cindy, her name was Lucinda Woodson. She used to have a room. She used to have bunions on her feet. And she used to put Ben Gay or some type of really weird shit. She used to drink milk of magnesia. And then she used to put this minty, disgusting thing on her feet that made the room smell kind of like bad toe pit. You know, kind of like picture like an armpit of a toe. And I would walk in there, she'd be watching Sanford and Son, and she'd be watching all these other shows. And Cindy and I had this like really fractured, weird relationship. I just don't know what it was. So I remember one day I was playing, and as a kid, you seem to wipe out. And it's great when I hang out with my daughter because I can remember like little things that I did to myself. And I used to go to the supermarket and get a box, and I would draw headlights on the box and put a license plate on the front and the back. And then I would take Jojo, my stuffed animal, and Smokey, my other stuffed animal, and Lassie, and, you know, one of the other crew, and we'd get into this car, and we'd go to the top of the steps, and I'd angle it down. You know, what's about to happen right now is one of the most dangerous things in the world, so just prepare yourself for this. And if you have children, remember they're going to do the same stupid shit that you did as a kid. So I angled it down, and stuffed animals are in there, and I got into the car, and I pushed off a little bit, and I thought if I can keep the angle going, right, it would cruise over all the steps, and I would literally go and bounce my way down, but kind of float my way down. So, of course, what happens, the law of gravity, is that I weigh too much. The stuffed animals didn't do their job of weighing down the back, and I was too front heavy, and eventually I got to a step that, well, literally would flip the car over again. I did the best Isuzu Trooper. Remember those things when they used to flip and roll? So I did my best Isuzu Trooper and literally rolled down the steps. And I remember I was laying at the bottom of the steps, thought I was dead. I got the wind knocked out of me for the very, very first time, and I'm laying there, and I'm trying so hard to take a breath in. And I remember Cindy, smelling of Ben Gay, staring at her bunions. She'd look at me and she'd be like, "You got the wind knocked out of you. You'll be okay." And she walked away and went into the kitchen. I was like, now that's fucking tender. Boy, that made me feel really good. But it's interesting, you know, it's funny too. Like I remember I was driving on black ice in Colorado, and I actually rolled in a Isuzu Trooper. Another story, another day. So what is the podcast about today? Is it about the stupid things we do? Is it about our childhood? Or is it about really having compassion for other people? Because that's what we need. And that's something being a dad teaches you. You know, kids get hurt at random times, and you have to go and do fake casks for them and make them feel better. But it seems like when you're in a relationship and, you know, for instance, a shelf might fall on your head, a lot of people would look at their partner and just go, "Oh, let me look at it. Oh, you're okay. Don't worry about it. Shake it off," right? We lose that compassion. Meanwhile, the guy's gushing, bleeding, okay, needs 14 stitches on it. And his girlfriend or wife looks at him and says, "You know, it's not really a big deal at all." As she's looking at the internet, staring at her Facebook feed, basically feeling sorry for her friend Mary, who she went to high school with, because Mary is having a bad day, or Mary posted a picture of herself on the internet and she needs encouragement. It seems like we're nicer to people via social media than we are to people out and about. And there's this plague going around. It's called people being the most self-absorbed son of a bitches I've ever seen in my entire life. I think a bomb can go off and people won't even notice it. People are so absorbed into their own little world, constantly seeking and looking at validation. I don't walk around ever looking at Facebook. I don't ever looking at Insta make me feel better. I don't need to post pictures of me having fun so other people can validate me. You know, if you look at Instagram, and if you're one of these Instagram people that every day put pictures of yourself up, can I tell you something? Grow up or admit the fact that you're a narcissist. Because nobody has to see you in different outfits. You're seeking validation because you're so insecure that you need to seek validation of others because you've never grown up past high school. I like to have an app, and I like to call it High Schoologram. And Fonzie and Richie Cunningham would be like the leaders of it. And we're all just looking to get into some click. And I've ripped apart Instagram and Facebook many times before, but I want you to kind of spend a day and look around your town. There's a plague going on out there, and it's called tent cities, where there are people living in tents all over the United States because we decided to lower interest rates so low that we wanted everybody to buy a house, but in reality, it drove the price of real estate up so high that a lot of people can't afford things, because once the price of real estate went up, the price of renting places went up, and then the price of renting commercial spaces went up, and then the price of food went up. Sure, you can get toxic Donald's, or you can get any type of fast food place like Break for the Bathroom or, Taco Diarrhea. You can literally go and get Kentucky Fried Cat, and you can eat that stuff for cheap, and you can put on 750 pounds, wear something that looks like a muumuu because it was definitely something that you needed, and then you can have really cholesterol and diabetes too and everything else. But hell, at least you got a roof over your head, right? It's crazy what we have done in today's society. We have raised the prices of everything so high that people are no longer healthy. People are overweight. People have diseases. Take a look at those pills. If you take this pill, it might actually cover up the diabetes you're having, but your side effects will be, name the side effects. It's anything from chronic diarrhea to heart palpitations to losing erection to losing your sex drive to mood swings to suicidal thoughts. But it's okay. At least we've corrected the fact that you can no longer afford good food because, we decided back in 2000 to lower interest rates to create a real estate boom that has literally lasted almost 18 years. Sure, in 2008 to 2012, the real estate boom went down and housing became affordable again. But once again, we stimulated the economy again. We kept the interest rates really low, and now prices are at the all-time high. So there are people living around all over the U.S. Google it, tent city, and take a look at it. There's so many tent cities all over the universe, all over the world. People are pitching tents everywhere. It's literally all over Los Angeles. It's everywhere. There's Tent City Jail. There's Tent City Marathon. If you Google it, you'll see Tent City, Arizona, Tent City, Oregon, Tent City everywhere. Tent City, Orange County. Orange County, one of the most expensive tent cities. There's an article on the internet right now from January the 22nd. Orange County's biggest tent city being cleared out. Department deputies clear out the biggest homeless, and you see pictures of it. It's a gigantic tent city. It's in Anaheim, where everybody goes and spends so much money on Disneyland. It's now $400 or $500 to take a family to Disneyland. It's crazy what is going on in this world. The homeless have nowhere to go because we've made everything so high in price, but yet people are ignoring it. Because people are so caught up on their phones and people don't give a shit about anything. But in reality, why don't we have a homeless-ogram? Oh, that's right, they can't afford a cell phone. But it's all over the place. And it's not going away, it's getting worse. And we're not doing a thing about it. So today, instead of spending the day on your fucking phone, and instead of doing things you normally do, I want you to look around and I want you to feel for the people that are more needy. Maybe today, actually go, pack a bag, look through your clothes, look through your closet, look for all the things you don't wear anymore, the things that don't make you feel great, the outfits that you put on for yourself when you want to feel better on Instagram and nobody gives a shit. I want you to take a look at what's in your house, look in your kitchen, look at the food that you have in there, the food that's close to expiring that for some reason or other you bought because you went to Costco and you had to buy 75 pounds of popcorn kernels, okay, when the human being doesn't need to eat that much popcorn kernel. How about those 7,000 piles of toilet paper that are in the extra bedroom that literally you trip every single time you go in that extra bedroom because there's nowhere to put it, and you literally had to go to acupuncture because you sprained your ankle because you have so much stuff in the other room. Take the food. Take the toilet paper. Take the clothes. Take all this shit and drive around and find your local tent city. Find where homeless are and donate this stuff, because there are people out there that are literally starving every single day. When we're indulging on the Costcos and the Walmarts and all this stuff. Take the food you're not going to eat. The other day, my girlfriend and I were driving around. This girl in front of us literally was stopped. We immediately thought, as a person who grew up in LA and one in New York, what the fuck is she doing? When are we going to need to honk the horn? She went into her trunk and she pulled out a bag of food and she gave it to a homeless person. She looked at me and waved. We both smiled at her. And then as we turned the corner, I saw a homeless person and it was monkey see, monkey do. I literally went and gave a bag of food that we had in the back to the guy. He thanked me for it and asked me if he can give me something. He literally started looking through his shopping cart. And I looked at him and I said, no, keep it. He goes, no, I want to. I said, no, keep it. And I walked away before he gave me something. There are people starving out there all over the U.S. We're ignoring this. We don't need to ignore this anymore. We need to help and be proactive. So today, clean out your shit. Give it away to someone who needs it. And help maybe get people who are living in tents and on the street and in shelters, giving them some form of dignity. They don't have Instagram to make them feel better or Facebook to make them feel better. What they need is food and compassion. And that's your job today. And that's your reality.